One of the most important things when you're traveling around in a vehicle like this is the quality of life. And what I mean by that is the things you interact with in the van, in the vehicle for extended periods of time. The seat, the steering wheel, and in this case, the infotainment system. And it is pretty well known that the infotainment and more importantly, the sound system in the Sprinter van is kind of garbage. The speakers are pretty much made of paper, and the center channel that's up on top of the dash overpowers everything. And what you're left with is an experience that is, how do I put this nicely, f***ing awful. And I made it better, partially, for a little bit of time. There's this inline thing that you can get that reduces the amount of power going to the center channel and makes it overall a better experience. However, a total fix, it is definitely not. So with that in mind, I reached out to a company called RoamRig because they make something that I think is one of the best quality of life improvements for a Sprinter van out there. In fact, I think it is the best. So let's drive up to Connecticut together and let's go check out exactly what they have going on. As usual, this starts with a little bit of disassembly. John from RoamRig is taking off the seats, and they are going to get to wiring the actual system here. The thing that we're talking about is going to live under the passenger seat in that big empty space. A lot of people put heaters there. I'm not, for this very reason. But let's cut the crap. Let's get with the guy who designed all this stuff to have him talk about it. All right, guys, we're here with Aaron from RoamRig. Yeah, Aaron's great. So he's going to walk us through sort of what we've got here, because there's a bunch of different components, and really we got to talk about first, like, what is this garbage, Aaron? What the hell is that?
This is the stock door speaker from a Sprinter. So it's a cargo van, so they don't really spend a lot of money on making a great audio system, and it's a kind of a paper cone. It's a very light speaker with a small magnet. It's just never going to be great.
Yeah, the audio system, I will say, you know, you're being nice. It's trash.
Yeah.
It's trash. So you've come up with a really good sort of drop-in type solution.
Yep.
You've got some ARC audio stuff. Explain to me what we got with speakers.
So first thing we got here is the new 6.5-inch ARC X2 series speaker for your door. So you can see it's got a nice rigid cone. It's got a much larger
Wow, look at
magnet.
the size of that here. I'll hold these up so you guys can see like side by side.
I mean, you feel the weight here, and so you need a large magnet.
Let's feel this.
And you need a large driver.
My goodness.
To actually produce nice sound. So this speaker has the ability to produce nice sound. And then we have these really cool custom injection molded glass filled nylon speaker adapter rings, and they're made specifically to bolt to a Sprinter door and then to bolt to this ARC audio Sprinter. So we made these.
And this is specific for this kit, correct? This is not like something you can just buy?
Nope, this is designed by us and manufactured for us specifically for this kit.
That's cool.
So yeah, it comes with a pair of these door speakers. It comes with new ARC audio tweeters for the dash.
Right.
And then this piece right here.
This is like the hub of it all, right?
Yes, this is what makes it really awesome. So this is an ARC Audio A10 10-inch subwoofer in a custom-made box.
Look at this, guys.
That fits underneath the passenger seat of your van. So it drops in underneath the passenger seat of your van. And it's got an ARC Audio amplifier on here. And this is the ARC Audio Blackbird amp. So it's 1,000 watts.
Goodness gracious.
1,000 watts. And you need the power not just for volume, but you need the power to drive the speakers quickly and accurately. So if you don't have enough power to move the speaker from point A to point B, it can't actually represent the music that's on the track. So you need power not for volume, but actually for accurate representation of the music that you're listening to.
So one of the things I think a lot of people sort of get wrong about audio upgrades is that it's just about turning it up, like just louder, just louder.
No, I mean, that is part of it, obviously, because you can't hear anything in a Sprinter.
Correct.
But a huge part of it is taking what's on the track, you have a sound wave, and making the speaker represent that sound wave exactly as recorded. So if you have a good audio recording, and you don't have really good components, meaning good speakers, good powerful amplifier, good processor in the amplifier, you can't get that nice accurate wave actually out to the speakers and to your ears.
Right. So it's volume and clarity of the entire thing.
Volume, clarity, accuracy. You know, they talk about an amplifier as a long wire. And this amplifier right here is probably the best in the business at being like an old analog amplifier that takes something input and makes it something output that is louder and drives the speaker how you want it to.
Man, that's super cool. And we looked yesterday a little bit at the settings and all that kind of stuff. This is tuned for the driver's seat of the Sprinter van, correct?
Right. So that's an important piece of the puzzle here. This is tuned by two of the best people in the industry from Arc Audio that are well known for tuning DSPs, which is digital signal processors. So you take the output from the Mercedes radio and you actually flatten it out, because Mercedes does some tricks to try to make those speakers sound good. Flatten it out, and then you reprocess it in here, and you actually apply gains, and there's certain frequencies that you filter out and certain frequencies that you amplify, and then there's delays. So the speakers that are closer to you are delayed from the speakers that are further away, and that's so that the sound arrives at the same time. So it sounds like you're sitting in a fully symmetrical audio room instead of having, you know, driver's seat, one speaker over here, one speaker in front of you, one speaker down low, the subwoofer over here. So there's some tricks that are done with delay and volume to center the audio image, they call it, around the driver.
That right there is miles beyond what most people will do for an audio upgrade. Miles beyond.
It's awesome.
yeah, no kidding. So we've also got some harnesses and stuff. To explain to me what's going on here.
Yeah, so beyond the box that fits under the passenger seat and the custom rings for the doors, we also have custom harnesses here so that the installation process is as easy as possible. So these harnesses come from us, pre-terminated. When you're installing this, you just plug these right into the amplifier, and everything is plug and play. You plug these into the amplifier. This is already set up with a Wago for the trigger to turn the amplifier on. And all of these come so you don't have to, you know, look at a wiring diagram and figure out what goes to what. You
just
plug
set
everything
up.
in like that.
That's
we
cool.
Have power wires that are pre-terminated.
Those are serious.
Yep, ready to go right into the amplifier there to give power for the amplifier.
I'll tell you what, most of the time when you see stuff like this, just wire, just hanging out.
Yeah, we don't like that.
You keep it nice and clean. I like that.
Yeah, we have ferrules that are on these that keep the strands nice and tidy so that you don't have strands all over the place, shorts, and kind of it holds the wires securely so they're not.
It's just a cleaner way of doing it.
Correct.
I like that.
You kind of see these wires right here. Now these are set up for extras that are kind of a bit of a choose your own adventure piece, wherein RoamRig is not going to give you exactly what you need to use these other than instructions, but this amplifier is really cool in that it has 4 configurations in it. Some of the configurations use, let's say, just the front speakers in the van. And then there's a connector right here where you can add 2 more speakers. So you can, with a 12-volt signal, you can change the amplifier to configuration to turn on additional speaker channels.
Oh, so do that one more time, sorry.
You can turn on, you can plug in additional speakers here, and you can have additional speaker channels. So if you want rear speakers, or if you want speakers outside your van, you can plug them in here.
And they just boop right in.
And you tell the amplifier with a 12-volt signal to move to a configuration that uses those. There's also configurations that use RCA input. So if you have something like this Bluetooth receiver from JL Audio, or anything that has RCA outputs,
okay,
you can plug it in here, and then you can tell the amplifier, hey, right now we're going to listen to the RCA inputs, and the profile in the amplifier will change, and it will stop listening to the Mercedes inputs, and it will start listening to these RCA inputs right here.
Could you run both at the same time, or is that not possible? Okay.
Nope. So it's one or the other. So like while you're driving, you can have it set up where it's going to default to using the Mercedes side, and then if you're camping and you power this from your house batteries, let's say, you could have a Bluetooth receiver that when the Bluetooth receiver is on,
that's interesting.
When the Bluetooth receiver is on, it tells the amplifier, hey, Bluetooth receiver's on, and then the amplifier will start using these inputs to play music, not using the Mercedes inputs, but using a Bluetooth receiver.
That's pretty wild.
And you could, in that same profile, when the Bluetooth receiver is on, also enable outdoor or rear speakers or something.
So this is really like the base unit, and you can go as wild as you want. Obviously, that's not something you guys are offering right now, but the possibilities are here. It sort of gives you the way to do that, correct?
Yeah, there's infrastructure here for that, and we will have some generic instructions available for, you know, this is a type of Bluetooth receiver that you can use.
Yeah, here's an example of what,
This is a way that it could be powered from house batteries. Unfortunately, because there's so many differences in van lengths and van builds and power systems and what people want to do, we can't kit that stuff.
That makes sense.
But there's flexible infrastructure there.
Okay, so what's the other stuff that we've got here?
This is just some more harnesses. So this is the harnesses that go to the doors for the speakers and tweeters, and everything is labeled: driver door,
look at that,
passenger door, and this just plugs into the other harness. So after you run the wires, just connect these two together. This wire right here is for this knob right there.
This is one of my favorite parts of the whole
which
kit.
is this adjusts the subwoofer level. So sometimes if you want a lot of bass, you could turn this up. If you have something that you don't want a lot of bass, you can turn this down. So you have remote control over the subwoofer without having to go through menus and settings.
Dude, that's so nice. And you guys just tuck that up into the center console.
Yep. It's just hidden kind of underneath the cup holder. So it's easy to get to, but it's not sticking out of your dash looking like it's been modified.
So this represents like the newest, latest version of what you guys are putting out.
Correct. This is we call it the Beatbox Blackbird, and that's because it has a Blackbird amplifier from Arc Audio. So we thought that was a nice way.
That's an appropriate name.
Yes. The Beatbox Blackbird. So this is a Blackbird edition Beatbox with this awesome amplifier.
So what is full retail? People are going to ask, what's the full retail for this?
Full retail is $34.95 plus installation. We have a dealer locator on our website. You can go in there and put in your zip code and then say that you're interested in the Blackbird, and it'll show you people near you that carry it. You can also order it from our website and look at the instructions there, do a DIY install if you want to. It's if you're comfortable taking the seats out of your van and taking the door panels off, it's a very easy install. So if you're semi-handy DIYer and you're okay doing that stuff, you can take a look at the instructions and decide, and it's pretty easy bolted. You don't have to know anything about stereos.
And these guys do way more than just stereos. If you have a Winnebago Revel, these are the guys you need to talk to for the plumbing upgrades, power system upgrades. And what's the website? It's RoamRig.com, correct?
Yep, RoamRig.com.
Got it. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it, man.
Cool.
And this is what it looks like with that subwoofer box and amplifier dropped into the passenger seat base. Obviously, your seat would go on top of this, and there are some interior parts that need to go back together before this is actually complete. But there you have it. Wanted to give you guys a look at that as well. Now, there is absolutely no way in hell that I can accurately convey through any kind of speaker system that you're viewing on what it actually sounds like inside the van now. So unfortunately, you're just going to have to believe me that it is like going from, those old string cup things that you did when you were a kid, the tin can on a string, paper cup on a string. That's what it used to sound like, and now it sounds like a polyphonic symphony. It is absolutely world-changing in terms of driving experience. And I know some people are going to ask, what about the auxiliary inputs? Are you going to use those? Are you going to, do a bunch of sound in the back? And the answer is no. The reason I say no is sort of twofold, right? I don't like the idea of being distracted by music and not being able to hear my surroundings when I'm traveling by myself out in the middle of effing nowhere. I want to be able to be aware of what's going on around me at all times. It's a security issue. And part of the reason that I want to go out into the middle of effing nowhere is to escape the noise. And by bringing my own noise, it just doesn't kind of make sense for me. I want to separate myself and enjoy that silence wherever possible. My day-to-day life is chaotic. Inside my mind is chaotic at all times. This is the life that I chose, and therefore being able to take a break and soak in that silence when possible sounds amazing to me. That sounds great. So there you have it. One of the best quality of life upgrades for any Sprinter van that you can get right now is from RoamRig. I want to say a big thank you to the guys up there for letting me come film all that and show it off to you guys. I think it was awesome. I'm really pumped that we also have a second alternator from them. That is only in the video for just a short period of time, but it is an integral part of the power system. We'll get to that in another video. But again, thank you to RoamRig. And of course, thank you to you guys for watching. I really genuinely do appreciate you being here. As always, if you want to leave a comment, that'd be rad. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this. And of course, we'll see you next time.